Hello, I'm Sharon McDaniel, Treasurer of Casey Family Programs Board of Trustees. It is my honor to introduce this extraordinary advocate for families. Mercedes Bristol brings her experience as a single grandparent raising 5 grandchildren to her role as the Executive Director of Texas Grandparents Raising Grandchildren. This nonprofit provides services to grandparents throughout Texas. Mercedes learned firsthand the difficulty that grandparents face to receive the benefits and supports that they need to raise their grandchildren. Her experience motivates her to share her family story with policymakers and others, and to advocate for more recognition and resources for kinship caregivers. Let's watch her story.
I'm so thankful that I decided to take my 5 grandchildren because they have been a joy. I know that they're safe. I know that those years were maybe difficult, but it was just in having them together and seeing them now, it was just a joy to be able to know that I contribute to their life in that way. I'm the Executive Director of Texas Grandparents Raising Grandchildren, and we started the organization because of the situation I found myself, where I found myself adopting 5 grandkids. I was 57 years old, and then I got a call from CPS, and I got a baby 3 months old, and then 9 months later, I have 4 more children, and all of a sudden, I'm a parent of 5 grandchildren. The main goal of Texas Grandparents Raising Grandchildren is to empower and equip grandparents to find resources and support in the community. When we get the grandchildren, sometimes we don't have any legal services. For myself, I had to hire an attorney to do an intervention, and that cost me a lot of money. And so a lot of grandparents don't have that kind of resources. One of the things I realized is that we can find attorneys, we can find financial assistance. However, if we don't change legislation, then we can't have those access to those bigger tickets for us. And so I go to the state representatives, I talk to senators in the community. We branched out to other ones, and we know that by changing the policies and changing the law, we can have more benefits as the kinship caregivers. I see hope because we have a lot of community partners that have partnered with us in wanting to help and assist grandparents. These grandparents and myself, we weren't mentally or physically thinking that this is something that we were going to do at our age, but it's something that we take on because we love our grandchildren.
It is my great pleasure to welcome you, Mercedes. And on behalf of Casey Family Programs and the Board of Trustees, I am pleased to present to you the 2022 Casey Excellence for Children Kinship Caregiver Award. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor. Your story is so inspiring and so important, and I'm glad you were able to join us today for our conversation. And so, talk to me about what this award means to you.
It's an honor and a privilege and a humbling honor to know that our voices has carried out and been acknowledged through Casey Family Services. It's just a privilege to be able to know that.
Well, when I was able to look at your story, and it's so incredible, I was wondering, when did you first become an advocate? When did you recognize that you were an advocate? Because you have been fierce in terms of your advocacy for your grandchildren. When did you first notice that about yourself?
I think the first time I noticed it is when I had to go to Child Protective Services and make the first report on a CPS caseworker that made the wrong choice for my grandkids. And I went and had to go up the chain of command and had to fight my way up. And so at that point, I said, things can happen and we can make a difference if we voice our opinions and our cases.
And, so as the executive director of the Texas Grand Families program. Can you talk to us about what that has meant for other grand families that you're working with every day?
I think what has helped them is to have hope that they're able to know that there's programs out there that are willing to step up and help them. We encourage people, we train them in trying to advocate for themselves and for others and giving them the resources that they need.
And one of the resources that you certainly advocated for was the financial assistance to support grand families as they were going through raising their grandchildren. Can you talk about your process in terms of getting that legislation passed?
Well, we go to legislation and speak about the lack of services, the lack of financial services for grandparents. We talk about the TANF, temporary assistance for needy families. We talked about SNAP benefits, how they should not be counting the resources for the grandparents to be able to support these grandchildren. They come with no income, and therefore we need to make legislative decisions based on what is real, not just what should be.
And thank you so much for that. And what is the financial assistance? How has that supported many of the grand families that you work with? What are they able to do at this point with those extra resources?
Well, we're still fighting. The resources have not come very easy. What did pass was House Bill 4, where now the child can get, or the families can get PMC, permanent managing conservatorship, but that's only the families that come through CPS and get the permanent managing conservatorship. We have families that now they're called a hidden foster care that don't get any financial assistance. So we're still trying to fight that fight and trying to get that financial assistance for those grand families that do not go through the CPS system.
Excellent. And that's so very important. And so I know that you have 5 grandchildren that you're caring for as a single grandmom. So talk to us a little bit about those beautiful babies that you're caring for.
Well, my 9-year-old is now 20. And so she's graduated high school. She's in college. She's attending UTSA. I have an 18-year-old that's graduating this June. I have a 17-year-old that's in a junior in high school, and have a 13-year-old that's going into high school, and 11-year-old that'll go into middle school. So they're all growing. It's amazing how time has gone by so quick.
And how did you manage all of this through COVID? I'm just curious, when the children were not in school, how did you manage with all of that, with being an executive director and being a grandmom of 5 older and young ones?
Very difficult, a lot of tears, a lot of frustration. I had 5 here at home, and one that I babysit for my daughter, which makes it 6 children in the house. Internet was a very, very challenging component of having them all here and being in school. Then just the spacing for them to have the privacy to do their own work. Everyone had headsets by then, they're walking around. The challenge was that the 11-year-old could not stay focused. And so he was watching videos and doing other things that he shouldn't have been doing. So trying to run the nonprofit and keeping the house, running was a huge challenge.
Well, I'm just so grateful that you were able to get through that, and you're also continuing to work with the grand families that you've been working with. I know that you are an advocate and working with Generations United as well. Can you talk to us a little bit about the work that you do with Generations United?
Well, with Generations United, we speak about the challenges that we have. We bring it up to legislation. If I have an issue that I know it's more than just statewide, then we escalate it to Generations United. It's a great organization to stay connected and actually to train. They've done some trainings for us for Texas grandparents raising grandchildren, where the executive director has done some how to tell your story, so we can train grandparents to be advocates for themselves and for others. So we partner up in doing more trainings for more grand families to be able to speak up and make a difference in their community.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. Well, I know that you are so busy, but I have one final question. What is your hope for the future for kinship families?
That they're resourced, that they have the ability to get the necessary things to raise these children. Again, these children don't come with any income. They don't come with resources. They come with broken hearts. They come with trauma. And so to be able to educate, to prepare grandparents for the challenge that they're facing when we make that decision that I want them with family, they thrive better with family. They stay in their culture. They can't be anywhere else but with family is my suggestion. So we fight for them. We give them the resources that are not available right now. It would be amazing if there was legal resources that they can get legal custody of the children, so the children are safe and well taken care of. That the financial would follow the children if they have child support or Social Security. That financial stability that they already had with the parents, that would follow the child for the grandparent to have it. It would be amazing to be able to make those changes in the financial and the mental health benefit for the children.
You know what? And thank you for sharing that. And I think that that's right. I know with you and your advocacy and those that you've joined with you, I know that change is going to happen and we're all going to be hopeful for what we're going to see in the future. So thank you so much. And again, congratulations on your award.
Thank
What
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now let's meet our next award winner.